All right, you guys ready? We are super grateful for your time today. Well, it's fitting you're in Arizona. I think you've called NIL the Wild West, or the current state of college sports the Wild West. So is it possible to level the playing field when it comes to NIL? What's the next step here to kind of rein in some of the chaos we've seen?
Well, one of the things we don't have is any kind of traditional framework regulatorily. And so we actually have a consumer protection set of reforms that are moving through our own governance process. The big issue most of the kids and families talk to us about is just no visibility in the way a traditional market works into what anybody's worth or what people get paid or how it works. And I think many of those reforms will help a lot. The other thing we're going to try and do is see if we can give schools a little more latitude to talk to kids about this stuff.
Touchdown!
I'm all in for kids doing really well under NIL. It's a great thing. Totally in on that. But you hear enough from enough kids and families about the problems that come with no transparency and accountability. And I do think many of these reforms, which I think of as consumer protections, will help make the space a lot safer for them, which is really what we're trying to do here.
So do you think that the student athletes then should be employees of the university?
All of the student athlete leadership groups at the NCAA and most of the ones at the conference level don't want to be employees. They absolutely want to be, especially at the higher resourced institutions, they would like to be compensated for their time and their participation. But practically nobody wants to flip the dynamic around what I'm really there for. Remember, even at the highest and most prestigious institutions, the number of kids that are going to play professionally is really small, like less than 5%. And the other thing to think about here is you have 1,100 schools in the NCAA, okay? You have a handful that actually make money on sports. And the vast majority of them spend less than $25 million on sports. And an employment model for virtually all of those schools would basically mean either getting out of the sports business completely or dramatically scaling back the number of sports they make available, because they lose money on it now.
What does the NCAA look like in the next 10, 20 years here?
Boy, I sometimes wonder what the NCAA will look like next week. I guess what I would say is that I think there's no question that there needs to be some sort of tiering, right? We already have Division I, Division II, and Division III, but the separation within Division I between those top 60 or 70 schools and the rest of Division I is very significant, and there should be separation there. I think everybody thinks the NCAA does a pretty good job on championships, and it's certainly the thing if you talk to student athletes and say to them, what do you value most about the NCAA? You know, they will say, the thing I value most is the chance to test my mettle and for my teammates and I to test our mettle against schools and conferences from other parts of the country in an NCAA championship. You know, they love that, and we should do everything we can to preserve it. It's a beautiful thing.